Okay, we're gonna jump right into it today and challenge something you've probably known your whole life. A fact so basic you learned it way back in kindergarten. So just think for a second. Picture that old, colorful map on your classroom wall. If someone asks you this question, what's the number that immediately comes to mind? 7. It's gotta be 7, right? We can all list them: Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia. It's just one of those things you know. Simple. But what if it's not so simple? What if that fact is less of a hard and fast rule and more of a habit? What if the world map we all carry around in our heads is actually missing a giant piece of the puzzle? And that brings us to our first deep dive, the curious case of a possible 8th continent. We're going to look at the science, the evidence, and what it tells us about a world hidden just beneath the waves. So here's the deal. On one side, you have the common knowledge we're all taught. 7 continents, end of story. But on the other, a really compelling scientific claim for an 8th geological continent, a massive landmass that goes by the name of Zealandia. So why haven't you heard of it? Well, probably because a whopping 93% of it is completely underwater, submerged deep in the Pacific Ocean. That little 7% we can see, that's New Zealand and a few surrounding islands. It's literally just the tip of a gigantic, hidden continental iceberg. You might be thinking, how can something mostly underwater be a continent? And it all comes down to the scientific definition. See, for geologists, a continent isn't about being above sea level. It's about being a huge, continuous slab of continental crust, which is way thicker and different from the thinner oceanic crust all around it. And guess what? Zealandia checks all those boxes. So where does that leave us? Well, geologists made their case pretty strongly back in 2017. But officially, it's still often called a submerged microcontinent. It hasn't made its way into most textbooks or onto official lists. So, is there an 8th continent? Geologically speaking, absolutely. Officially, the jury's still out. Now, this idea that a simple scientific definition can completely flip our understanding of something, it's a really powerful one. So let's try it again with another geography fact. We're going to find the world's largest desert, and I can almost guarantee you, it is not where you think it is. Go on. Try to picture it. What comes to mind? For most of us, it's probably endless rolling sand dunes, maybe some camels, and scorching, brutal heat, right? The Sahara. I mean, of course it's the Sahara. It's the poster child for what a desert is. It's the answer that just feels right. But that answer, the one that seems so obvious, it's completely wrong. Believe it or not, the largest desert on planet Earth is Antarctica. Yeah, you heard that right. The coldest, most frozen solid place you can imagine is also our planet's biggest desert. And here's why that's not crazy. It's because our popular idea of a desert is just off. Scientifically, a desert has nothing to do with being hot or sandy. The only thing that matters is how much precipitation it gets. A desert is simply a place that is extremely, extremely dry. And when you look at the numbers, it's not even close. A typical hot desert might see about 250 millimeters of rain a year. But Antarctica? It gets less than 50 millimeters. The air there is so frigid that it just can't hold moisture, so it almost never snows. That makes it a polar desert, and it is by far the largest one in the world. So we've got a continent hiding underwater and a desert covered in ice. What's the point of all this? What's the real takeaway from this little trip into geography's weird side? It really boils down to this incredible idea. Geography isn't just about memorizing names on a map. It's a living, breathing science. It's a tool for understanding the complex, often hidden rules that truly define our planet. And the big takeaway here is that so-called facts are almost always more complicated than they seem. They're simplified stories we tell ourselves. But if you change just one word in a definition, you can change your whole perspective. And suddenly a continent can be underwater, and a desert can be frozen solid. And that's really the question I want to leave you with. After all this, you just have to wonder, what other basic facts that we all take for granted are we getting completely wrong? What else should we be questioning?